Some very interesting developments have been happening over the course of the week. Both Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso have said that they would race again in Formula 1. The champions are active within the paddock and are ready to go again. Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel have been in and around the paddock since they hung up their helmets for the many years that they have been having their helmets hung up for. And they've been keeping an eye on all things Formula 1 and having a little bit of an investment within a couple of teams. But the biggest thing for Vettel and Alonso was obviously the calendar was very, very extreme, and there was a lot of tension between the F1 and the FIA, which Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso felt very uncomfortable being in that environment. So while they hung up their helmets, both of them said at the time it was not a given that it would be forever. And they're now starting to see positive gains within Formula 1 that is definitely interesting them for the near future. Both Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso have said that F1 is moving in the right direction, with obviously all of the constructors being their own manufacturers, and they can see F1 is just in a better place without the FIA. Sure, we get the dramas and the tensions that we do between teams and drivers on and off the track, but in terms of the overall sporting environment, things have been much, much calmer since the FIA and F1 split, and it's something that Vettel and Alonso have noticed. Of course, this is going to be very difficult still for Vettel and Alonso to potentially drive again in Formula 1. They have obviously been out of the sport for quite some time. Whilst both of them are highly experienced champions, obviously it's all about seats at the end of the day. It's if Alonso and Vettel wanted to race again, what seat would they want to be in? What seat would they be accepted in? And obviously, will they be able to get the contracts that they are looking for? And of course, if there are further changes down the line, is that something that's going to satisfy Vettel and Alonso? Or could it just be a case of them saying that they'd be happy to race again? Or it might be that they actually just fancy going into some form of management role within a team itself. But they're definitely getting more active within the paddock, so it'll be very interesting to see what type of role Alonso and Vettel take on next. Taking a look at the race news heading into this weekend, it was Porsche that set the times purple in practice, with recent sights happy with their car, and they were very much on fine form. Unfortunately for McLaren and Mercedes though, they're not on form. They're actually off the pace heading into this weekend. Both teams were having issues with straight line speed in particular. Now, Spa-Francorchamps is such a unique circuit in which you will never get the setup perfect. You will either have a setup which will help you in a straight line, which will compromise you in the corners, or you get your setup spot on so that you're the fastest team in Sector 2, but you will be a sitting duck in Sectors 1 and 3. And right now, Mercedes and McLaren are doing what they can to try and compensate for their straight line speed, but it's going to hurt them in the middle sector. Red Bull admits that Porsche are the fastest team on the grid right now after their performance so far in practice. They don't believe they've got the pace to get after Porsche, but they will give it their best shot. However, for them, their issue is tyre warm-up. They get that right, they'll be okay. And finally, Ferrari can't get their setup right for Sector 2 in particular. Again, Ferrari seem to have a decent car in a straight line, but it's not working for them in the middle sector. So if Ferrari were able to make any changes, they can do, but it's going to make them a sitting duck in a straight line. It's really hurting them a lot. Ferrari have definitely been struggling a lot this season. But let's see if they can try and get their setup on point as we get to qualifying and the race for the Belgian Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxydude here. Welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of the F1 journey for you guys today here on the channel. We're here for the Belgian Grand Prix, round number 15, and it's the final European race of the season. If you guys end up enjoying today's video, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, and let's get cracking with this race weekend. As you can see here, we're on the track now, starting our qualifying runs here. We're going for our banker lap here in this qualifying session. When I say banker lap, it's my first run of the session here. So let's see how we can get on then and see if we can try and put right what's been going wrong in practice so far. So as we go through the Eau Rouge and Radion section, now down onto the Camel Straight here, a little bit fussy through the top of Radion there, didn't quite nail the curb as much as I wanted to there, just felt like the car could have potentially turned into the corner a bit more than I thought as we go in towards the Lecombe chicane, a little bit late on the brakes there, but not too bad as we navigate this section quite nicely. And now going in towards the heart of the middle sector here, this is where I would have expected my car to perform slightly better, because in every single scenario that we've had where we've had high-speed corners, my car seems to just feel very, very competitive. So we're going towards Poulon here now, flat into 8th gear, a little bit of a lift though, just as the car turns through the corner. And now we go into this chicane section here, braking quite nicely, but the back end just steps out a tiny bit on the exit there and just gives me a little bit of waiting time before I can get onto the power as the back end slides heavily then on the exit of Stavelo corner there as we getting all out of shape now in this sector, and that slide there is going to compromise us all the way down this straight now, heading towards Blanchimont. It's easy flat, so it doesn't really matter regardless. And as you can see now, heading towards the bus stop chicane, and as you can see, we're getting on with our lap times. A lot of people now setting some fastest laps here as we now go through into the chicane, exiting the corner now, opening up the DRS here to the line, and it's a decent lap in there, 0.2 of a second behind Sam, not too bad at all. But that is where all of the good of qualifying is going to unfortunately come to an end, because as I went out for my final run, it started to rain. And not only that, if you look at the timer in the top right hand corner of your screen, I've gone out way too late, and unfortunately the clock is going to strike 0 before I can get another run in. Okay, so as you can see, we're on the starting grid here for the Belgian Grand Prix. Slightly out of position as I didn't get a chance to set another flying lap, but then at the end of the day, it did start to rain. So, yeah, probably not ideal there, but we're starting in P12 and this race then. So as we go to the 4, to the 5, red lights, and the lights are going to go out, and we are underway for this race. And as you can see, it's a decent start from us here now as we get towards turn 1 here, getting a couple of cars now as we go ourselves down the inside here. Over plenty more of that, and starting in 12th in this race puts ourselves up into P5. Great start for us there as we get a better launch than anybody else and just send it up the inside of Last Horse. But now as we go up the hill here towards Eau Rouge and Radion now, and we go onto the Camel straight here, you can see that we're putting the power down now. We've got the McLaren though of Sam that is coming alongside us now, and we go down in towards the Lecombe chicane. Can we outbrake the McLaren? We can outbrake the McLaren. We're through on that, but there's a scrap going on up ahead here though, and it looks like one of the Porsches there, Carlos Sainz, is struggling a little bit with the power on the exit, and now down in towards the heart of this middle sector now, seeing if we're literally pushing Sainz there through the corner, but on that occasion we can't get any further than that now as we blast our way down the straight here, and we can see we've got the McLaren still right behind us. We've got to be careful of him there, but as we go through towards Pouhon now, this is where you can see we're just pulling out a tiny little bit there on the McLaren now as we brake nice and late down in towards the chicane here. Careful not to go in too deep. This time, unlike in our qualifying run, back end doesn't step out on us. It steps out a little bit though for Sainz there as we go in towards Stavelo 1. A little bit of understeer kicking in through there, but now we can accelerate off the back of the second part of the Stavelo corner and down the straight here towards Blanchimont, and the other Porsche car of Risto is in the lead of this Grand Prix. And as you can see from the minimap there, he's got himself a lovely advantage now as we go towards the final corner here. Now there's a little bit of tussling going on for potentially for some positions here. We're trying to have a look here, see if we can have a run on Sainz towards the chicane. We'll try and set ourselves up here. This is going to give Sam a chance here to try and come at us, but as you can see, Reese leads this Grand Prix. Comfortable lead for him, but now can we see if we can try and send one down the inside of Sainz in towards the source? We can send it down the inside of Sainz in towards Last Horse, catching him off guard there as we make our way down towards the Camel straight now, or towards Eau Rouge, should we say, for that matter. But it's 4th place now in our hands here, and we've had a brilliant start to proceedings here in this Grand Prix, but it's not over yet here because here comes Carlos Sainz coming back at us down the straight here. Of course, the Porsche has been epically quick here into Spa-Francorchamps, and it shows that here. Sainz breezes past us on the straight, no DRS even needed there, but we get back around the outside of Sainz in towards the outside of Lecombe. Beautiful move there, and that's a great tussle, and we're up into 4th place, and hopefully now we can try and keep that 4th place for a little bit longer. Looking at the race start though and seeing how that transpired here, so as you can see, Reese gets a very nice launch here. Verstappen tries to go for it towards turn 1, but unfortunately, as he gets to the inside line, he's not close enough there to have a look, but we just send it down the inside. Nobody was there, but crucially, we just got a better launch as well than the rest of our competitors, and that just gives us the chance to just send it down the inside. It's on board with Lando Norris now, and as you can see, it's not the prettiest of getaways from Lando Norris. He's having to watch his mirrors here because he's got quite a few cars now trying to come at him. That was us though, going right round the down the inside there. But he had a Jaguar and also a Red Bull go around his outside, and in fact, they both made the move stick there, so not ideal. Further back, this is Daniel Ricciardo here, and this is how his start got on in the Renault. So initially, it's not a good start here because he loses out to the Jaguar going in towards turn 1, but eventually, as he dives it down the inside, he just tries his best there to force the Jag out wide and get the power down. And as you can see, he does actually manage to do that. So while it was not a great start from Ricciardo, he was able to recover it quite nicely. Lap 4 of the... lap 4? No, we're in P4. Lap 2 of the Grand Prix, end of lap 2. Reece still sets the fastest lap of this race here, but Russell now is on the back of Verstappen, but we're on the back of Russell here, and La Source is looking quite tasty to send another one down the inside on George Russell. Job done with that overtake there. We're up into 3rd place now in this Grand Prix, and while we've been struggling for a lot of the weekends here, at the moment, we seem to have got the setup in a nice window here, where we're all right in the early phases of the race, but there's plenty more racing to come. Now we've got DRS here, so let's see now if we can have a run on Max Verstappen as we breeze our way down the straight here. Sainz meanwhile is going to have a go at Russell going in towards the Lecombe chicane. We get past Verstappen. We don't get past Verstappen actually. We've gone way too deep in towards the Lecombe chicane. We've gone off the track. We've had to let Verstappen through. That overtake won't count for us here. Lap 4 of the Grand Prix though. We'll have another run at Verstappen here. He's got a great exit though off the La Source hairpin there. Meanwhile, there's a BMW that seems to have an issue. Looks like a puncture or something there because there's a yellow flag covering that BMW driver. But on the straight now here, we're going to have a run here on Verstappen. We've got the DRS here. Sainz has got the DRS on us though. Look at the difference in straight line speed between ourselves and the Porsche of Carlos Sainz. But Sainz locks up as well. Sainz goes in too deep into the Lecombe chicane, and we say thank you very much this time around and take the position away from Sainz there. So whilst we initially made a mess of things, on that occasion, we got back into the rhythm of it, and we stay in 3rd place. Verstappen, for now, stays in 2nd. Further back, though, here, we've got one of the Jags, I think it's Ilott, going head-to-head with Theo Pourchaire here, going in towards the bus stop chicane now, and they're having a good scrap with it, but Pourchaire comes out on top as we go on to lap 6 of the Grand Prix now, and we're still behind Verstappen. We can't seem to find a way through on Verstappen, so while the race pace initially at the moment is not looking too bad, our straight line speed is becoming a problem here, but Verstappen is going a lot slower through this section than he has been all the way through, and now all of a sudden here, we're right on the back of the Ferrari of Verstappen, and I don't think there's anything that Max can do here to try and defend this position. We pull out with the DRS here, and we make our way through and down in towards the Lecombe chicane. Job done on Verstappen, and that is us up into 2nd place now. Sainz is all over the back of Verstappen in that though, so he might have a look at him, and there is Reece up ahead leading this Grand Prix. So now it's the question, can we get past Reece, or can we catch him for that matter? Meanwhile though, Sainz here is desperate to get on with it in this Grand Prix. He's going to have a look at Verstappen going through in towards Blanchimont. They're going for it wheel to wheel now. They're right on the back of me though in all this, so whilst the fight looks great here, I've got to be careful of what they're doing. Going towards the bus stop chicane, Verstappen breaks later to hold the position against Sainz. I've had to watch that though. Meanwhile, Bottas there is having a look at one of the McLarens in the bus stop chicane. We just about though survived that one there, but Verstappen now gets the DRS on us going in towards the first corner, but he's not close enough yet, but we just about get away with that one. Sainz though didn't get a great run out of the chicane there, and he'll have to wait a little bit longer for his attack on Verstappen. But meanwhile though, as we make our way up the hill here, Verstappen is still in DRS range of myself here. So as we go our way up the hill now, he is going to get the DRS here. So will he close enough though to launch an attack here down the straight? He's getting closer to it. He's getting way closer actually. Look at the speed of Verstappen on the straight here with the DRS going towards the Lecombe. We'll have to defend the position, and we do just that. But that's another warning sign. We've got a problem with straight line speed. If we're going to get caught by the DRS, we're going to be in big trouble here. Lap 7 of the Grand Prix though. The fight between the three of us continues here, because here comes Sainz now trying to look for a way past Verstappen. Verstappen tries to find a way past us, heading in towards Blanchimont. We've got to cover them as best as we can here. Going in towards Blanchimont, Sainz passes Verstappen. Sainz will have a look at us going into the chicane. We'll just about cover that one off though. Brake late, go to the middle of the track. Job done, defense done, but Sainz there gets his man, and Verstappen drops to 4th in this Grand Prix. Lap 8 of the race now, and you can see that we're struggling now on our tyres. We go wide in towards the chicane, picking up some gravel there. That's not going to help us going through the exit of Stavelo, and now as we go onto the straight here, this is where Sainz is going to be all over the back of us now. You can see here that Reece meanwhile still leads this race. He's not pulling away as much as I thought, but here comes Sainz now with the straight line speed of that Porsche. There's nothing I could do about it. He breezes his way past me in this Grand Prix, but we'll stick right close to him here. When we're in the slipstream, we're going to go for it now. Down the inside into the bus stop chicane, take the 2nd place back away from Sainz in this Grand Prix. But when we're in the slipstream and DRS of another car, the straight line speed is not that bad. But when somebody's got the slipstream and DRS on me, or even just the slipstream for that matter, I am a sitting duck. So yeah, not great in this race. Lap 9 of the Grand Prix, though, somebody that's having a good recovery drive after a poor qualifying. Valtteri Bottas, he's got past both the McLarens in this race. He's now alongside Verstappen down the straight here. And now as we go towards the Lecombe chicane, he had the outside line for the initial phase, cuts that to the inside line, and there is a job done for Bottas. He's up into 4th place now in this race, and whilst I thought I would be able to gain on Bottas in this Grand Prix, well, he's actually gaining on me. And as you can see, on lap 9 of this Grand Prix, another poor run through Stavelo. There's a lot of understeer kicking into this car now as we move later into the stint, and Sainz says, thank you very much, I'll have that place, as we now make our way through Blanchimont and towards the bus stop chicane. Will we go for another move on Carlos Sainz? But Sainz actually defends slightly towards the middle of the track, doesn't give me enough time to set myself up for a dive down the inside, so I've had to compromise the chicane slightly to try and go for it down in towards turn 1 here with the DRS. But I'm actually going to play a patient game here. There was an easy move there to go, oh, I might have just given Sainz a little kiss there. But there was an easy chance there for me to go for the move down the inside with the DRS into last source. But if I did that, then this straight coming up now, Sainz will be right all over my gearbox again and straight past. So we're going to set ourselves up here for a nice attack with Sainz with the DRS. We initially tried to go to the outside. Sainz covers that one off. We'll go to the inside line here, breezing down the straight. Sainz has been dispatched with, and we are through and ahead of Carlos Sainz in this Grand Prix, and that is us, job done in that overtake. We take the lead of the race. Reese has pitted early for a set of tyres, so that's quite interesting to note. Meanwhile, though, a little bit further into the lap, as you can see, the understeer that I was talking about is really kicking in a lot because we've gone wide into Pouhon, and that overtake that we did on Sainz was a complete waste of time because we've just been overtaken by Sainz again, and that was really silly. Back end steps out a little bit there for Sainz, though, so the tyres seem to be going off all round, and we're struggling more so with understeer than we are with oversteer, which is quite unusual because I've mostly been struggling with the back end of this Mercedes throughout the majority of the season, so to see it to go into kick into understeer is quite interesting. But as you can see now, we're getting closer to the back of Carlos Sainz here through this straight now, but you can see the Porsche car is actually pulling away a little bit through the Blanchimont section. So now as we go in towards the chicane, can we send it down the inside? Not quite, we're too far back. Bottas is quite close. Sainz pits, will stay out for a little bit longer then. We're actually going to change our strategy in this race. Now this is a stupid idea, but I'm all for stupid ideas. I'm actually going to convert from, rather than doing a medium hard, which is what everybody is doing, I'm going to go for a medium soft at the end of the race and try and use the power of the soft tyres to get me further up the order. Whether this is going to backfire on me is another matter, but right now, we need to defend our position here because Bottas is coming at us now at a vast rate of knots here. DRS is enabled for Valtteri Bottas. He's going to go towards the inside, like the outside line there. We give him a very little amount of room there. Bottas, though, doesn't quite get it in the end. We just about scare Bottas away by making him literally have just his actual car worth of width there, and no more and no less, and he doesn't decide to go for it here. Lap 12 of the Grand Prix, and there's an interesting scenario that's changed here. Now, Reese did pit earlier in this race. Remember, he's been leading this race for the entirety of it and started on pole. Sainz, though, goes around the inside into Blanchimont here. That's going to go to the outside. Sam now in the McLaren trying to come back at him. Reese breaks late going in towards the chicane, but Sainz will have the inside line. Reese will hold the outside line and stays ahead. So why is it then that with the undercut, Reese is being pressured heavily by Sainz? Well, I've been told on the radio that Reese has got a problem with his car. Whatever the problem is, it's costed him a lot of performance here. Speed things up a little bit to this straight here, and Sainz is going to come straight back past Reese once again. There's no point in doing a jump cut. Might as well just show you guys the replay going further forwards. Sainz breezes past Reese, but all of a sudden now, Reese's car problems has meant that if they do fix themselves, which they seem to have done because he's not dropping away from Sainz, it's gone ahead and allowed everyone to close up to him, and now he's stuck in that DRS attack fest that we're seeing. For us though here, we're coming into the pits now for our one and only stop in this Grand Prix. Like I said, I could have gone for the hard compound tyres and done a medium hard, but I've decided to go aggressive onto a medium soft. Now the tyre wear wasn't brilliant, so this is a bit of a gamble for me, but I've seen how long some on the softs have gone for, one of them being Reese, who actually started on the softs, and he's actually doing a soft medium in this race, so it is possible, but as you can see, coming out of the pits here, we've lost quite a bit of track position by staying out longer in this Grand Prix. This is not Bottas in front of us, this is Perez, so we're actually a little bit further back than we probably would want to be, and all of a sudden now, we've got a McLaren right behind us here, but we're going to open up the DRS here, but that McLaren has gone for all battery modes engaged on that one there, So we're going to force him to the outside line here, to the inside line, give us the better line around the outside of the Com chicane and get that place back on George Russell. And up ahead now is Sergio Perez and Verstappen. On the mini-map there, you can see we've got an Aston Martin of Piastri, Sam, I believe, and then the 2 Porsche cars who are all engaged in a battle here. Lap 14 to start lap 15 of the race, and if we're going to make this strategy work, we've got to get these overtakes done now rather than never. So we're going to go down the inside here of Sergio Perez into last source. This time around, I've gone for the move because Verstappen is right ahead of us and allows us to get onto the power now and start breezing clear, as you can see here, of Sergio Perez here, as we make our way through towards Eau Rouge and up the hill now towards Radion. You can see that we're blasting down the straight here, opening up the DRS now to attack Verstappen, and as you can see, with the DRS enabled on the Camel straight here, Verstappen goes to the inside line to defend, but with the soft compound tyres on versus his hard tyres and having DRS, we breeze past Verstappen, and all of a sudden, the car feels nice and grippy, so we're going to breeze on through purple first sector as well, and up ahead are the 5 cars that we need to get past. The 2 Porsches, the McLaren, the Red Bull, and the Aston. So let's start with the Aston Martin of Porsche then, with the DRS here, opening it up now, going towards the La Source here. We're going to go for it here. Piastri tries to cover me off slightly, but not enough there for us to get fully through, and we're ahead of Oscar Piastri. Next up is Bottas here, who's got a run actually on Sam now, up Eau Rouge here. This might be a good chance for the Red Bull to pull it clear. We're going to focus on this fight now, going up the hill here. Bottas is all over the back of the gearbox of the McLaren. The DRS opens here wide now for the Red Bull. Going down the straight here, Reese is also trying to go for a move on Sainz for the lead of the race here, in towards the Com chicane. Who's going to come out on top on all the occasions? Firstly, Sainz stays in front of Reese. Bottas gets in front of Sam. Sam gets covered off there by Bottas, and that lets me through. Oh, that was wide on the exit there of the Com chicane there, but Bottas's overtake compromise. Sam allows me to come on through, thank you very much, and that is us up into 4th place now, and we've only got 3 more places to gain before we are into the lead of this race, but there's a lot more racing to do here. And speaking of racing, that's exactly what the Porsche car drivers are doing here. Reese makes his move on Carlos Sainz. Job done for him, and he'll be very satisfied with that one now. On the end of lap 18 though, you can see that the 4 cars now are all in formation as we make our way onto the straight here. DRS has been enabled. The Aston Martin there of Oscar Piastri has overtaken the McLaren of Sam, so he's been heavily flustered by that, but we're going to go down the inside here of Bottas into last source, and that's another job done for us in this Grand Prix. But we've got a good run here on Carlos Sainz now from the exit of La Source here. We might just be able to do the double here in this attack now. Up the hill we go. We're right on the back of the Porsche driver here. This is a chance now to get second in this race. We've got the DRS. Sainz has got the DRS on Reese as well, and unfortunately, despite having the slipstream as well on Sainz, can't catch him. That Porsche is rapid in a straight line, and I've actually gone a little bit deep into the Com chicane there, so unfortunately, no pass there for me. That Porsche is horrendously fast in a straight line, and I can't do anything about it, and let's just like try even well. I know obviously Sainz had DRS then to attack Reese, but I was way closer to Sainz than Sainz was to Reese, so that's quite annoying. Lap 20 of the Grand Prix though, we've got a nice exit again then off of La Source, but the ERS battery is running low here. Look at that, the Porsche car's pulling away from me on the straight. I can't get near him at the moment now. Reese here though is our race leader. Sainz is second. He's got the DRS now. You can see him from Reese's rear wing. He can't defend against it. Sainz goes through, but now we're going to see if we can try and get involved on the act here. Brake nice and late into the Com chicane. We can brake very late into there actually. A lot later than I thought, but we'll try and set ourselves up here through towards the exit here. Get a nice run here. Reese and ourselves now can go for a run here. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between myself and Reese in towards the hairpin there. It's not gone well for me. It's gone horribly wrong. Bottas goes back through in this Grand Prix. Our championship rival says thank you very much. You've gone too aggressive, and that is a place gain for him in this Grand Prix. Of course, myself and Bottas fighting for the title, and Bottas takes that with open arms in this Grand Prix. Sainz still in front, but this is a cracking finale. At the moment, there are 4 drivers here, all going for it in this Grand Prix, but now all of a sudden, with the hard tyres and the mediums that these guys have got, their tyre deck wear is going to be matching, if not better now, than mine are, because of course my soft tyres will be going off way quicker than these guys here, but we'll use the battery to our disposal here. We're getting closer to the back of Bottas. Through towards Blanchimont we go now. We're going to have to try something here on Bottas sooner rather than later. We're going to send one right up the inside of Bottas. What a move on the inside of Valtteri Bottas into the chicane. You didn't see that one coming, son. And we're up into third place now in this Grand Prix. That was way over the limit of a dive bomb and a half. I've not really done massive dive bombs nowadays in F1, but we're carrying on with them here. But now, as you can see, this is now turning into a two-horse race out front here. Meanwhile, Bottas has passed me with absolute ease there. Side by side go the Porsche cars through towards the bus stop chicane. Reese retakes the lead at the Belgian Grand Prix. We're side by side with Bottas going in towards the bus stop. Reese then leads. Sainz is second. Bottas is third. We're in fourth. Does Valtteri have the DRS here? Down the straight. We get a horrible exit off the final corner there. Sliding all over the place now. Sainz has the DRS here on Valtteri, on Reese. We've got the DRS here on Bottas. Bottas doesn't have DRS. Reese doesn't have DRS. This is going to be bad now for both these drivers here. They've worked hard in this Grand Prix, but it's not going to be enough here for either of them, because as they go onto the straight here, Sainz is going to deploy his battery and go for it on Reese. Sainz is going to breeze past him with DRS. We're going to breeze past Bottas now with DRS in this Grand Prix. Sainz leads on the last lap of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, for us, we've just snuck back into third in this Grand Prix ahead of Valtteri Bottas. The fight now can't be with the Porsches. I've got to fend off Bottas. Here he comes down the inside in towards this hairpin. We've got a bit wide. Bottas will say thanks to that. We've got to hold this down the inside of the corner with no name, but it actually has a name. It's called the corner with no name. We fend off Bottas through that corner. We've got this middle sector now. My tyres at this point are completely dead at this stage now. I've got nothing left in them, but I have to keep going. We've got to keep pushing. We've got track position on our nearest championship rival. The two Porsche drivers are too far ahead now. They've actually breezed clear in these final few laps now, but into Stavolo we go. Now, it's a little bit wide there on the exit, picking up some gravel and some dirt there. That's not going to do us well, but we've saved up some battery. We have to use it all now in this race. There you can see the front left, 60% wear now. Bottas is going to go for it though. He's got the drive, he's got the momentum, but into Blanchimont. Who's going to be the bravest? Will be the bravest on that occasion. What about up front? Can Reese get past Sainz? I don't think he can. Down in towards the bus stop we go. Checkered flag is out. Carlos Sainz wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Reese will take second. We cross the line. We've beaten Bottas to it. And that is third place secured for us in what was a cracking race and a real hard fought one from all parties in that. But in the end, Carlos Sainz gets his second race win of the season, and for the first time since the Spanish Grand Prix, it is a 1-2 finish for a constructor. Obviously at the Spanish Grand Prix, myself and Hamilton came across the line for a 1-2 finish. Here today though, Porsche are finally back. They started this season, as you remember, so badly. They got their entire concept wrong. The correlation in the wind tunnel was wrong, but they worked hard. They got everything together, and as you can see, they are back on top. It's a 1-2 finish. Sainz beats Reese by 0.3 of a second, with myself finishing in third place. The crucial thing is, not only did we beat Valtteri Bottas to fourth place in this race, we also set the fastest lap of the race of a 1 minute 40.455, which gives us an extra point in our hand against Bottas. Oscar Piastri finishes in a fifth place for Aston Martin, 4.6 seconds back in the end, with Sam finishing in sixth for McLaren, 5.2 back in the end. Sergio Perez does manage to get up into P7 in the end. He overtook Max Verstappen at the end there, with Lando Norris finishing in P9 for the other Ferrari, and George Russell took the final points paying position for the McLaren. Looking at the second half of the table now, Theo Pourchaire with yet another P11. I'm pretty sure that's his favourite position to finish in. Nick De Vries, only 0.2 of a second behind Pourchaire. They had a close scrap at the end there in the Audi. Both the Jaguars follow suit then, with Ilott ahead of O'Ward in 13th and 14th. Speaking of O'Ward in 14th, he just about beat Carlos Sainz, 0.2 of a second in it between those two drivers as they cross the line. Lewis Hamilton, down in 16th place. I didn't hear anything on the radio of him having any car problems, but it just wasn't his race. It really wasn't at all. Rough result for him, and he finishes 33 seconds off the win in the end, just in front of Daniel Ricciardo by 1 second, so he might have had a problem, but I wasn't aware of anything. Gasly finishes in 18th for the second Renault driver. Mason Wood is 19th for BMW, and Stoffel van Dorn was the driver that ended up DNFing actually from the Grand Prix. So that yellow flag that we saw earlier, it wasn't for a puncture, he did actually DNF in the end. So how does that change things in the Drivers' Championship? Well, we are top of the Drivers' Championship by 17 points over Valtteri Bottas now, so we extend our lead at the top of the championship, with Sam now sitting in third place on 74 points. Unfortunately for Sam, he is still in the title race, but there's a total of 78 points on offer, and he's 74 points back. So it's very, very unlikely that Sam is going to be in contention for this championship. It's nearly mathematically certain that it's just a two-horse race between me and Valtteri Bottas for the championship, but he's on 169 points, or 74 points back off the lead. Oscar Piastri continues to close that gap though to Sam. It's a 29-point deficit that Oscar Piastri needs to close to take third in the championship ahead of Sam, but there might just be somebody else that will get in the mix with that, because Carlos Sainz is now up to 5th in the Drivers' Championship with 121 points to his name. He has overtaken, I believe, Verstappen and Lando Norris, and potentially Lewis Hamilton as well. He's jumped right up the order. Verstappen is on 109 points for Ferrari, with Lando Norris on 105 points. Reece, meanwhile, has also taken a big stride into things, because I believe he's overtaken both Russell and Lewis Hamilton. He sits on 103 points, with Hamilton also on 103 points. George Russell is on 90 points for McLaren. The next event is going to be the F1 Journey Las Vegas Grand Prix. It'll be the first time that the F1 Journey rocks up to Vegas as we head to the US side of proceedings for the final 3 races. We've got the Vegas Grand Prix, we've got the Miami Grand Prix, and we have got the Brazilian Grand Prix left. In the Constructors' Championship now, there has been a change, and this time I've actually managed to remember to put the arrows in to showcase that. But first things first, we are top of the championship still in Mercedes, 346 points to our name. We've got a 47-point lead over Red Bull. It's a decent advantage to work with, but 3 races to go, over 120 points to offer. Anything can happen. McLaren are on 261 points, sitting in third, but Porsche now, with that 1-2 finish, have gone ahead of Ferrari. They're 10 points clear of them now, 224 points to their name, and Ferrari are on 214 points. Aston Martin are on 152 points, pretty much solidified themselves as 6th in the championship now, with Audi on 33 points in 7th. Jaguar are 8th with 11 points, BMW 9th with 2, and Renault sitting rock bottom with 0 points. But that is it for this Belgian Grand Prix. Let's go take a look at the post-race notebook now, see what the teams and drivers had to say after this race. Moving over to the post-race notebook now, and Carlos Sainz wins the Belgian Grand Prix, with Reece coming home in 2nd place to make it a Porsche 1-2 as Tom beats his championship rival Bottas to 3rd in the race. Porsche said that they thanked their team for all their hard work throughout the course of this season. Of course, at the start of the season, as we said, Porsche went down a concept and development direction that was completely wrong. The wind tunnel that they had and all of their simulations was showing that a specific area of development and floor design was quicker, when in reality they got it completely wrong, missed some key elements during the winter, and had to go back and fine-tune everything that they had done and get the other floor on and redevelop their car. They've been working really, really hard, and they finally are getting their rewards as they're back on top of the podium, Sainz and Reece together, making it a 1-2 finish. But how is it that Reece was not able to win the Grand Prix when he started on pole and had a comfortable lead of about 3 seconds? Well, a sensor failed within the engine for Reece, which basically gave different mixed messages, and it meant that he lost power. Eventually, the sensor managed to fix itself thanks to some changes that the team and the driver made on the pit wall and the steering wheel, but in the end, it cost Reece dearly as it put him back into the DRS train, something he couldn't get out of. And finally, Valtteri Bottas was left angry with himself after the Belgian Grand Prix due to the way that he was positioning his car, specifically in defensive positions against Tom. There was multiple occasions that Bottas said that he just didn't defend hard enough against Tom, and he criticises himself for his own performance and looks to bounce back as F1 heads to Vegas for the first time. If you guys have enjoyed this episode of the F1 Journey, drop in a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will catch you guys for the next one very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Take care all. Peace.